Aspirin can cause.
You bleed very slow. But
so what they say, well, it destroys the white blood cells over time. It destroys the spleen. It lowers immunity. I could give you a list of my own.
Damn, I didn't know that.
But the drug industry saw how much money they could make in promoting an aspirin because short term, an aspirin can save your life and do you a lot of good. Short term. Long term,
yes.
Use vitamin E with selenium because here's what vitamin E selenium does. I saw when the actor John Ritter, he used to be on Three's Company, they call him Jack Ritter. When he died, his wife was on Larry King and she said he didn't have to die. They treated him for a heart attack when he had a torn aorta and build up a plaque in his arteries. She said his father died of the same thing at the same age. So the next day, enrolling that back in my head, I thought if he had been taking vitamin E with selenium, he wouldn't have had a torn aorta because vitamin E with selenium repairs your arteries and your artery walls. It's a natural blood thinner. It's good for your hair, your skin, your eyes. You name it, vitamin E is good. Here's another thing vitamin E with selenium does. Scar tissue. Before the show, Mark and I were talking about how half of all births now are cesarean. And it's a money thing. But a lot of women, once they have a cesarean, they have scar tissue. And these fibroids, a lot of times, they come from scar tissue.
I didn't know that.
Don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Because some women had 4 or 5. They had 4 or 5 cesareans.
Yes.
Wow.
And all that scar tissue builds. And think about the people with keloids. Black people tend to keloid more than other people.
What are keloids?
Keloids is if you get a cut and you see a bubble, or like you see some women and they'll have an earring in their ear and you'll see this big bubble behind it. Or they've had like a, you've been cut or something, you notice bubbling around it. Those are called keloids. And they can be devastating. I've seen young people with keloids going to estheticians and, cosmeticians. And I'm not saying not to go to them, but I'm saying there are natural treatments for keloids. Natural treatments to shrink keloids and get rid of them. And I mean, vitamin E is involved in the therapy. Vitamin E with selenium is all. Do you know, women, if you have menopause, you can incorporate vitamin E with selenium, and oh boy, the difference it'll make. That's why I said we all should be taking vitamin E with selenium every day as a preventative, just because heart disease is our #1 killer here in America. But instead, people are told to take an aspirin, and it's just wrong.
It's good for short term and not long term. See what happened is that Dr. Oz is. We went over the time limit. Okay, but you got time?
Yes, I have
we
time.
went over and people get mad
because you might have to edit.
No, I mean it's okay because these videos are on the internet and people I know everybody ain't got internet, but they can go to the library and see it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The thing about it is that I lost my train of thought. Okay. People have to talk to someone to help them. It's not enough for us to go on the internet. That's nice. We do learn things. And also, as human beings, we need to talk. When we go to the barbershop, we go to the beauty salon, everybody got issues. Don't be afraid. I got to go back to the ED because I know a lot of folks are just too shy to talk about I got ED and low T.
I wish I had
Come on and talk about it.
If I had a crew to work with me, I work by myself.
Right.
I would have the man putting literature in the barbershops.
Right.
And starting a conversation with them, and the women putting conversations in the
tell these men, whether they're 30 years old, 50 or 60, you're not less of a man because you have an ED.
No. If heart disease is our #1 killer here in America, and high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart meds cause circulatory problems, then that's why it's so prevalent. It's nothing at all to be ashamed of. I mean, women, we have issues with fibroids. Men are now having issues with ED and low T. It's a part of, let me put it to you like this, because we're constantly being bombarded with toxins and xenoestrogens and excitotoxins, this is the result. It wasn't that way years ago, but it is now. And whether you're in your 20s or whether you're in your 50s or 60s or beyond, you still want to enjoy a good quality of life. And there's a way for you to do it, but it isn't in the drug. It isn't in the drug.
But the drugs are so much easier. They don't tell you about the side effects, and it's so easy to go down to the corner drugstore and get them pills.
Well, see, that's what I call the vicious cycle. because it's easy when you start off with 1 pill a day and the doctor tells you, okay, you got 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. As soon as you lose that, you probably won't have to take this. But as we get older, it is tougher to lose the weight.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me
changes.
about it. That's how we should end the show on metabolism. Because you
we
can
need to talk about
exercise,
that.
you can cut back on eating, and
it's terrible.
man, it's hard to lose the weight.
You can take it off like that in your 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Tell me about it.
And then all of a sudden, once you reach 50, it was different for different people. I was just talking.
Well, the fat years don't kick into you by 30, 35, 40 for some people.
Well, it depends on your genetics.
Right.
Because I was just discussing with a good friend of mine, and she said, did you notice your body just went through all kind of changes when you were 40? I said, nope. I said, mine started when I was 50. But with some people, it's 40.
Mine was 45. I began to feel it at 45.
We know that general area is where it's going to happen. So that's why I tell people, let's prepare for it. Because once it happens, it doesn't have to be bad. Like, I'm going through menopause. I'm in my mid-50s. I am not afraid to tell people.
Hey, you ain't got no hot flashes?
I did have them for a short period.
Because some people have it really bad.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, really bad.
And now I can empathize and sympathize with women, because having felt it, it wasn't bad. But I felt enough of it to say, oh, this is what they're talking about.
Right.
And I knew what I needed to do, because I knew I was having a dip.
Right.
And of course, people might have these dips. I call them dips because they're going through a lot of stress.
Oh, yeah.
Their nutrition isn't there what it should be, or their body is just shifting and going through a change. Men, there are herbs out that you can take to raise your testosterone
It is?
level. Yes.
Well,
yes,
we'll talk about that. I'll email you. We'll talk about it.
Okay. And ladies, there are herbs and vitamins and minerals and things you can do, men too, changing your diet, that can make it where you can just go through those years, enjoy your life, and not have those issues. And that's what it's all about.
But it's so much easier. I know anybody I know was over, I'm 50, they over 50, some people in their 40s, they on some prescription medicine.
Yes. Well, I remember when Bill Clinton retired, they asked him, what do you regret? And he said 2 things. I regret I didn't send troops to Rwanda, and I regret I didn't pass that health care bill. And then he elaborated, because I want to make sure that every American over 50 has their medications. I said, well, that's assuming that everybody 50 and over is on medications. And then it dawned on me, that's because
he's right. We're all on medication. Seeing younger people laughing and giggling, who was 30, 20, laughing at us.
They're on medications too.
And they ain't on, they going to be on if they don't start eating that junk.
I got clients who are on their teens, 20s,
That's a damn
30s,
shame.
50s, and up. On medication for one thing or another, whether it's ADHD, whether it's eczema, whether it's cholesterol, whether it's acne. For something, they're starting at young age.
I didn't know the doctor's writing up prescriptions for everybody, huh?
Yes.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yes. And if they're
But
not
we be suffering. I'm sorry, we only got 3, 4 minutes. We're suffering in silence. On this show, my passion for the show is to get to talk about these things.
Yeah.
So when we go to the barber, beauty, we at the church, we over here. It's okay to talk about these personal issues that we have. Now we are.
But that's
I don't
our
tell
problem.
folks, you know.
We like to talk about it, and once we get it off our chest, then we move on. And I tell people, talking about it is one thing, but you got to do something about it.
I know it's one thing to know the path and another thing to walk the path. I
Exactly.
get that. But most of us don't know the path. That's the first problem.
Well, you know, I suggest people shoot me an email and get started.
The other path,
you said, incorporate you a team.
The other path is walking the path, because people say, well, I do what everybody else does. Mm-hmm. So the birds of a feather flock together. So everybody's on some kind of medication. Everybody go to the doctor and quick to get a surgery, because sometimes you don't have to take these surgeries. You could hold off and try to prevent these things.
That's true.
I mean, if it's immediate,
most of what we go through is preventable.
That's what I'm saying.
Most of what we go through is preventable. But here's the thing. Like you said, it's just easier for you to take a medication.
Yes.
So my problem is, and I tell people, well, their problem is, it's not mine, is they'll say, well, okay, I'm taking this medication every day. I'm fine. And that's what people say, and I tell them it won't be fine when they put you on that second medication and that third medication, and you're taking 4 medications for diabetes, high blood pressure, whatever, and all of a sudden you realize, I'm I'm doing addition. I'm not doing subtraction. The doctor isn't working to take me off the medications. They're putting me on more medications. And it's just going to keep growing until my kidneys and my liver break down. And that may be a long time off for some people. Some people's constitutions are stronger than others. But I say, why gamble? Why gamble? Get off the medication. That's what you want to do. Get off of it.
And that takes a lifestyle change.
It does. And see, here's another important thing I want to say since we're on the last couple minutes. All medications, bar none, birth control, aspirin, over-the-counter, prescription, they all pull the majority of your major vitamins and minerals that you need out of your body, which you were already deficient before you were diagnosed. So we're double down nutritionally deficient. Things like magnesium and calcium and vitamin D and there are so many things that the body needs, but if your body and your organs don't get those things, you got thyroid problems. If you have a thyroid problem, you know what's going to happen? You're going to exercise, eat 100 calories a day, and you won't lose an ounce. Thyroid isn't functioning, that rules metabolism, you got a problem. So I tell people we need those minerals, but the doctors don't know about vitamins and minerals, so they're telling you, take this high blood pressure, diabetes medication, or this cholesterol medication every day. You don't realize they're robbing you blind. So I wanted to leave with that tip, Mark. I wanted people to know we're all nutritionally deficient and bombarded with toxins.